Hey there, it's Robin, and I am excited to join you on another walk. You probably hear Riley, my pup, rustling around in the background. Today I want to talk about something that impacts all of us, but culturally, at least here in the United States, we do not spend nearly enough time talking about. It's one of the topics that we focus on with my company Motion, and it's something that through some personal mentors and a lot of research I've dived into more myself, but I wish I had started earlier, and I want that for all of you. So I want to share some of my lessons learned, successes, failures, learnings. And the topic is money. I do not mean money like rags to riches. I don't mean money like Jeff Bezos. I don't mean fuck you money, and I definitely don't mean walking around with a Porsche or a luxury sports car or wads of dollar bills that someone's just taken out from the bank and put on Instagram. I'm talking about living where you want to live. Spending the time that you want to spend with people and doing the work that you want to do. There's so many people in the world today doing stuff that they hate and then spending the money that they earn maybe on bare necessities, but also on nonsense. So this story could start any number of places for me, but the thing that I want to talk about a little bit right now is running Robin's Cafe. I've written about it a little bit in the past, but when I started out running Robin's Cafe, so that was the spring of 2016, I had never made more than about $50,000 in a year. And the very first month, the first full month that I ran Robin's Cafe, I pulled in half of that in gross revenue for the month. So the total income for Robin's Cafe was $25,000. And that very, very quickly grew up. We doubled in a year. So by the end of the following year, I was earning $50,000, as much as I'd ever earned in a year before, in a single month through Robin's Cafe. And to be clear, that's not then I have $50,000 net profit that I can go and spend on sports cars or a trip to Las Vegas. But it meant that I was seeing money at a scale that I had never really witnessed before. I would see $50,000 go through my bank account every single day, and that is meaningful. That was meaningful money. It also, first and foremost, was a level of responsibility. That paid for my employees' payroll. That paid for the avocados that then turned into avocado toast. But the process of running Robin's Cafe and seeing that much money go through my account every single day, I would be getting $1,000 or $2,000 in income coming into my bank account, changed my relationship. And I don't think it's something we spend enough time talking about, our relationship to money, how we think about money. The first thing it changed was the discomfort talking about money, and especially talking about money at that scale, was just gone. It was like, yep, within a month, $1,000, great. Granted, I didn't want to lose that money. I couldn't afford to, otherwise I wouldn't be able to pay my employees. But there was a freedom where I could all of a sudden talk about thousands of dollars in a way that I had not been able to previously, or had been able to. I could speak the words, but I was not comfortable to, because societally we don't know how to talk comfortably about money. And I share this little bit of this story. There's much, much more, but because the thing is to talk about it. I'm going to be hosting a workshop here in Marin County in California on money. It's a pretty cheap event. It's going to be about $100, just over $100 to attend for 2 full days. And the goal is to build a community of people who are interested in earning more, of course, but the why is really important. So I want to say a lot more about that. Over the next couple of days, I'll be releasing a handful of videos, free on YouTube, and it's really my best advice, my best tools around money. It's the things that have worked for me. So for example, one of the topics that we'll cover in depth is understanding your reason why. I went and looked at fancy watches over the Christmas break with my family. Not because I'm a fancy watch fanatic or because I'm not even wearing a watch at this moment, but for the last 15 years I've worn a watch that was a couple $100s that my sister bought for me in Switzerland. It's a Swiss watch. It's beautiful. It's well worn at this point. And I was like, oh, that would be sweet if my family got me a new watch. And every day that I put on that new watch, I would wear it and I would think of them. The watch that we looked at, or the watches that we looked at, ranged from $1,000 to $10,000. And I did not end up getting them. We settled on, let's spend time together. And maybe they might pay to fix up the old watch that my sister bought me all those years ago that I wear every single day. But if you love fancy watches, if you love Rolex and have followed Rolex watches and know everything about them, who am I to say don't wear a $10,000 watch? That's just not me. I'm hard on clothing, I'm hard on watches, I'm hard on jewelry. I don't really wear much jewelry, and I don't care about a $10,000 watch. The guy in the antique store tried to persuade me that it was an investment. It's like, yeah, so is the S&P 500. I'm not interested in a $10,000 investment watch. That's not me. But if that's you, fantastic. I am interested in good quality jackets. This is an Arc'teryx jacket. It's probably $400. I've been wearing it for a couple of years. I love it. I wear it every single day. I am invested in good quality dog food for Riley, who you probably hear shuffling around in the background over here. I'm interested in experiences. I'm interested in community. I care a lot about the quality of my sheets. Those are my things. You have yours. And I'm not going to judge yours, and they can be a $1,000 watch or a $10,000 watch, or they can be making rent. And that's really what it comes down to for me, is those simple things like making rent, eating food without having to check the price tag before I go into the grocery store, knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that this check that I'm about to write or this PayPal payment that I'm about to send a friend for dinner isn't going to bounce. I hate bounced checks, and I've spent so much of my life in a state of worry and fear about money. The second piece that I learned, and very much the hard way, was asking for help. I did not know anything about cafe accounting, or for that matter, much about money and accounting at all before I started the cafe. And I immediately was dealing with 15 vendors, several employees quickly growing up to 15 employees, and call it 24 invoices every single day, 24 different amounts that I had to pay, some via cash, some via check, some via credit card, and I had to track all of these amounts. And it was overwhelming. I never totally developed a system for it. I mean, I did, but it could have always been improved. And the way that it became better and better over the years was by asking for help. Sitting down with friends, going on Yelp and saying, okay, I need an accountant. No, I need a bookkeeper. Wait, Google, what's the difference between a bookkeeper and accountant? And then call 15 accountants and 15 different bookkeepers and ask questions. And they were all happy to spend 5 minutes helping this desperate sounding guy on the phone. I told them my story. I just opened up a cafe. I don't understand the difference between accounting and bookkeeping. What do you do? Having humility to ask for the help that you need. And we all need help around money. There's always ways that we can improve. But the only people who benefit when we don't ask and learn and continue to improve our knowledge and understanding around money is credit card companies and the people who benefit from bank fees. You and I suffer when we don't understand specific, what's the difference between net and gross? Okay, I can Google that. But I have to Google that 15 times before I finally understand that gross is gross profit, means before expenses, and net is after expenses, the money that you take home. So just because I saw $50,000 a month in gross doesn't actually mean that I netted that same amount, that I walked home with that $50,000. But that's not something that most of us understand unless you either have a degree in accounting or have a lot of business experience or have asked a lot of people for help. So expanding my horizons around money, just the ability to emotionally, mentally fathom a larger amount than I had ever thought of before. That was lesson number 1. And then lesson number 2 was learning to ask for help. Learning to have the humility to say, I don't know what this means. Who knows what this means? And then asking that person. Very much the second. And then, let's be real. The third was that it can be fun. It was thrilling those first few weeks when I saw $1,000 and then $1,500 appear in my account overnight. Granted, the cafe had been open, and granted, I had a lot of people to pay with that money, But it was really exciting. Money can be a game. It can be an experience, a learning process, a fun thing that you can get better at over time. And so rather than in the constant state of hiding from my student loan debts or afraid of checking my credit card balance, it became oh, cool. What can I do to, instead of $800 today, to get $900 tomorrow, or $10,000 or $1,000, 3 weeks from now? Maybe that advertising campaign I tried on Facebook is actually paying off. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh, it's the holiday and things slow down. What can I do to boost sales over the holiday? Or what can I do to cut costs? These are the excitement, the fun, the play, the learning of it. That was lesson number 3. So, mindset and the ability to perceive and understand more, the ability to ask for help, and then making money just slightly more a game or slightly more playful than it had ever been in my life before. Those were my first 3 big learnings about going from $50,000 a year to $50,000 a month through running my small business. I hope that's useful. And as I said before, I am going to be teaching a workshop in San Francisco Bay Area in Marin County on money. It's open only to 15 people, but if you're interested in learning more, you can go to wantmotion.com and take a look. Meanwhile, this video will link to the YouTube series that I'm putting out for free that teaches all of the best practices and tools and tactics that I have for managing money better and not getting rich quick, not rolling in dough, but living the life you want and getting comfortable and earning more for the reasons that are personal to you. So, I hope that you can find your own financial freedom, and I hope that this video is helpful. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching.